Hi everyone, Lisa Devante here. I've got my voice back, which is great news. It's a little raspy. I've got a little bit of a cold still. As you can probably see, I'm quite tired. But I did promise you this video, and I'm not going to be here next week because I'm attending the Whitby Goth Festival. So I thought better do it. You'll just have to excuse the slightly raspy voice. So, if you've got this far, you've decided that fame you can live without, and success you're very realistic about, and you're definitely going to wear a biohazard suit around your proofreader to save you getting flu and whatever else they may want to give you. So, this week we're going to talk about where to write, because obviously you'll now want to start to write. So before we do, I'm going to put on a hat. Now you're probably thinking, what is it with this girl and hats? Especially considering, you know, she's got her hair out today and it doesn't look that bad. It's not a wig, look. It's definitely my own hair. But I will tell you, it's a joke, okay? Since the first video, I was kind of dared to wear a hat on each occasion, a different hat on each occasion, which started out as a joke because apparently I own a lot of clothing and I own a lot of accessories, and so I was told I probably have as many hats as I do videos of advice. So we're going to put that theory to the test. So there you go. Hat on, let's get started. So writers write wherever they feel like. I know writers who write a kitchen table. Personally, I wouldn't be able to do it because people coming, you know, if you live with people, then you've got people coming in and out all the time and distracting you, and I just wouldn't be able to do that. I know people who on the way to work write on their laptops or on their phones. Again, that's because they can just zone out and ignore everything that's going on the train and just concentrate on what they're doing. Again, whatever works for you. A lot of writers have desks, but I have to say that the majority of us, not all of us, but the majority of us that I know of, we do have desks, but what happens to our desk is any bit of paper that we think, this is important, I need to save this, gets put on our desk, and any sort of thing that we think, this is important, I need to save this, put it on my desk. And what happens is your desk is about, you know, a foot thick of stuff that you think is important and you can't get to it to actually write. So, you know, that's the top and bottom of that. As with everything, it's a very emotive thing where you want to write. You may find that you want to write somewhere where other people can't, but it's down to you. I mean, wherever you find inspiration is where you should write. There's people, I think it's J.K. Rowling writes used to write in a cafe. I would find that horrendous. Lots of people around me all the time. The only time I would find that very useful is if I'm looking for characters and inspiration, and I'll get onto characters and inspiration in the next film. But yeah, characters and inspiration, when I'm sat there writing properly, I would find it very difficult to concentrate with people around me all the time. For me, sort of 2 o'clock in the morning, I think is when I've done my best work, when there's no one else around and it's really quiet. And I'm not being antisocial, it's just that I need that to sort of keep me in the zone and keep me concentrated on what I'm doing. So, you know, it's up to you, your levels of discipline, where you feel comfortable. My advice would be give each area at least 2 goes, because at the end of the day, we all have moods, and one day it might not work because you're just not into it, you're just not ready, and so you sit down and you work in this area and you just think, oh, I can't do it, and so move on to somewhere else. That necessarily isn't ideal. Give it 2 goes, because you may have just, you know, not been in the mood that particular day in that particular area. So, you might want to try, you know, on going on your way to work, on the table, you may want to try a desk setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my desk, well, my sort of work area really, not just my desk. And I really set up this area with the idea that I was going to make somewhere that I could sit down, I could concentrate, that I was going to have all the stuff around me that inspires me, and and that should help me write. So I'm going to show you all the sort of the entire setup and where I write, and maybe it'll give you some ideas. Okay, first things first, I have this fantastic shelf in my writing area, and you can probably see I have these box files here, and they have names. Well, these don't have names on. I know what's in them, but they don't have names on. And these are for upcoming pieces of work. So you might have seen these titles on my website, but these aren't actually pieces I'm working on at the minute. So all these box files have ideas for that piece of work in them. There is nothing worse than creating a book and publishing it and then finding that a idea has gone missing, and you find it after it's published, and because you know you haven't been organized. I used to not be organized, but now I find this really is a lifesaver. So I can highly recommend keeping all your notes in one place in an organized manner. And you go down here, and I have a big blanket box under here, under all these notes, and in there I have every sort of every note that I've ever used, and I have drafts that I've used, and it's really important you do this, and I'll tell you why in the copyright and digital rights management section that I'm going to do in another video. I mean, you can see here, I mean, this was published this year, and you can see here that I've got, you know, the manuscript that I've gone through, and this doesn't look actually that bad. It doesn't have that many. You can probably see it does have some sort of corrections on it. And if I move the guitar cases, I have a collection of CDs, which, you know, while I'm working, I sometimes like to listen to music to get me in the mood for whatever I'm trying to write. So yeah, round the corner from there I have yet more CDs, which I don't know why, considering everything is on MP3, but if I ever want to go old school and use the CD, then they're all there at my fingertips. And then I have a bookcase full of influential sort of pieces of work, and obviously things like a dictionary that, you know, authors should really have. The Princess Bride, which is my favourite book of all time, and I have those so I can sit in my chair here and overlook the valley and outside and just really sort of chill. On the other side of the room I have my antique chest of drawers. I love antiques, so that's why it's antique. You don't need it to be antique. And I have things in here like pens and bits of paper, because if you've got an idea, you really need these things to hand so you can write it down before you forget. And I have things like Thesaurus and other sort of influential things which are right next to my desk. Things, you know, lots of vampire things which are useful when you're writing a vampire trilogy. And then above I have chandelier, well, candelabras and other bits which just sort of inspire me. So pictures like of Whitby Abbey and things I've collected over the years and stuff, which is the same on the top of my desk. I just have little cool things that intrigue me and keep me interested. And then we go to my desk, which is a antique bureau, and on here, well, I have book 2 of the Darkness series, which I'm still going through with the corrections. And we have stuff like, oh, I have all these sort of notes that I need quite soon, and just little things that keep me entertained. like, you know, a mini slinky. I mean, how can you not have one of those? And little things I've collected over the years which keep me amused. So yeah, holy water, really handy if you're battling vampires. And then I have other sort of bits that you might need while you're working. And then obviously no desk would be complete without a chair. And it's great, is this chair, because not only does it spin round, but it also tips backwards. So it's really quite comfy. There's just one problem with that chair. So there you have it. That's my office. That's how it's all set up. And it's really good. I have everything at my fingertips. I have influential stuff all around me. But I don't actually work there. I actually work there. Now, I really need to learn how to phrase that better to make me sound not like a prostitute. But the point is, that's where I work. The reason for this is I find that if I want to actually write and be creative, I need to sort of be very comfortable and relaxed and in an environment where I can just get on with it. When I'm sat at my desk, I've got the outside world. I can look out of the window and get very easily distracted. And come on, if you've got some really cool stuff on your desk, you're going to want to play with it rather than actually do work. The only time I use my desk is when I'm doing admin. What I call admin is when I'm inputting corrections that my proofreader has picked up on. There's no actual creativity being done there. It's just, you know, inputting. Because it's so easy to get distracted. For instance, my swivel chair. Oh, it's fantastic. You know, everyone wants a swivel chair and it's great. However, if you're someone like me, then a swivel chair just means that you can sit there spinning around on it. And you may think this might not happen to you, and believe me, I never thought it would happen to me, but it happens. A couple of years ago, I went to Tallinn with a friend of mine, and we went from Helsinki to Tallinn, and I was on a ship that it was quite a really choppy journey on the way back, actually. And so the boat is going up and down, and I'd started drinking Jack Daniels, so I was more than merry, and I was on this chair, and I was spinning round and round. Why they had swivel chairs on a boat, I have no idea. And after about 5 minutes, I started thinking, and this is starting to make me feel a bit, you know, queasy, really. I'll stop. It took literally 2-3 minutes for me to forget all about that and start doing it again. So yeah, swivel chairs, they're fun, but the problem is you don't want fun while you're trying to work. And other things are, you know, having inspirational stuff around you is great, but occasionally you might get distracted by it. Yeah, we're all different. You shouldn't feel downhearted if the first few places you try don't work out for you. It could just be you need to try somewhere else rather than you're incapable of writing. Wherever you feel comfortable. I know writers who have got out laptops and started writing at an event where they should be meeting and greeting people, but instead they're writing. I wouldn't be able to do that, because if I got into the zone and I was writing, then someone comes and interrupts me, I'd get quite cranky, really. People who write on the train on the way to work, people who work on kitchen table, it wherever you feel. You might find that once a week you go down to the local park and sit there on a park bench and write. It's wherever you feel comfortable writing and inspired, but at the same time where you don't get distracted. Obviously, distraction, different people have different distractions. Obviously, with me, it's pretty much anything. But come on, if you had a slinky, a mini slinky on your desk, you've got to take that, haven't you? And try and make it actually work like a proper slinky. Let's try it. I give up.